Okay, let's talk about the best ways to make money in STALCRAFT today. If you watch my previous video on artifact builds, you probably noticed that I'm a giant nerd who loves spreadsheets, and today will be no different. I don't think this video will have any groundbreaking information for experienced players, but some of the results I got were not what I was expecting actually, so who knows. But before we dig into the numbers and the best ways to make money in the game, here's some important context. I play solo 99% of the time, I don't have a clan, and I'm god awful at PvP. So bad it's not even funny. If you met me in game, you probably know how bad I am already. So what I'm gonna share in this video is catered to my experience. I've seen big clans control Uniq and all its bosses and farm for free all day, making I don't know how much money from this, but that's not us, that's not the average player. Or 5-man PvP god squads, artifact hunting in Stillwater and making a gazillion rubles every emission, but again, this is not what we're talking about here. This video is for people that have no friends and are shit at the game, so most of you watching probably, me included. I'm saying this because despite all of that, I managed to get all the gear I want. I'm almost done with my artifact builds, I bought all the items for the hideout, and I'll be done leveling everything pretty soon. That was a mistake by the way, but we'll talk about crafting later. And I have so much money still, I don't even know what to do with it. So what I'm saying is, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Yes, you have to play the game a lot, and I play the game a lot, too much even, but more importantly, you need to know what you're doing and be efficient at it. So that's what we're gonna cover in this video. The only requirement is that you picked a faction and are playing in the north. There are some okay ways to make money in the south, but if you're still at this stage of the game, you should just focus on progressing the main questline, side quests to get free gear and so on. The real grind, and when you're actually gonna need money, is when you reach the north and master levels. The methodology for this video was pretty simple. Pick an activity, I don't know, like proto anomalies, do 100 of them in every location, write down everything I'm getting, while timing myself to see how long it takes and see how much money it makes. Rinse and repeat with pretty much every single activity you can do in the game. It's more complicated than that of course, and I will detail more for each category, but that's the rough idea. You will find the link to the spreadsheet in the description if you want to see all the exact numbers, but it's not like the artifacts video, checking the spreadsheet is not mandatory here, the video will cover everything. It's based on the EU server prices because I play on EU, but I made the spreadsheet in a way that you can edit all the prices in this green column to whatever you want. The prices on auction change all the time, patches change a lot in the economy, and if you play on another server, your average prices may be completely different. So you can change them and it will update everything automatically. Just make a copy of the spreadsheet for yourself and go at it if you want. I'm playing with premium too, so all these numbers are for gameplay with premium. 30 days premium is like 3 million on EU, which will be literally pocket change after you finish watching this video, so there's no reason not to use it. Okay, let's start. I'm not gonna do a reverse ranking where we start with the worst stuff and slowly climb to the best ways to make you watch the video till the end. Fuck this, let's just start with number 1. Stashes. Yep. Everybody says the best way is artifact hunting. I was convinced it was artifact hunting. I've made so much money with artifacts, it was not even a question in my mind. I even farmed the Buriat on 2 different characters, and I'm reaching like 7,000 artifacts found. But no, stashes are actually better. Well, it's very close, and if you're already having a stroke right now, remember what I said in the introduction. We're talking about average players, not god squads in Stillwater. Quick pause from the editing room because I realized I forgot to explain something. So the max number is how much you would get in a perfect world if all the stashes were always full, you didn't have to travel back and forth from base, you never got killed and so on. It's just easier to compare activities with a number like this, but the real gameplay is more what you're gonna get in-game. It's a bit more subjective because it's based on my timings, but yeah, I'm showing them both because they're important when we talk about efficiency, and we're gonna talk about this later in the video. Okay, let's go. After doing almost 1,000 stashes and around 50 emissions that I tracked for the stats of this video, when we compare the results, we end up with almost the same number, which is kind of interesting. So why do I put stashes number 1? First, because I didn't include the tools I found in stashes. I've been very lucky when I was doing these runs for the video and found 3 different sets of tools, and I don't think it's representative of reality. They're not that common. If I add them to the total, we jump to almost 3 million an hour on average, which is crazy. So the number for stashes is definitely higher than this, but not by that much. The second reason, which I think is more important actually, is that you don't need any special equipment to do stashes. Yes, a speed build will help like any other activity in the game, but you don't need to farm the Buriat, you don't need the Saturn or any specific armor to do your runs, and you don't need to wait for an emission, which is a big deal. You can do stashes whenever you want, as much as you want. I just watched a couple videos that show you where the stashes are. I'll link them in the description, by the way. Tried every single stash a couple times to learn the locations, then figured which ones were the fastest and easiest to get, and ended up with a run I like to do of 18 stashes that I can do in less than 7 minutes. Everybody is gonna do it differently, but that was my process and that's what I tracked in the spreadsheet. Generally, I will do the first 3-4 stashes of the run, and if they're already looted, I just go do something else or try to get a different instance. I'm also from the school of looting absolutely everything, and you should do too. You will find a ton of good stuff in the regular boxes, especially tools, parts, barter packs, expensive hideout crafting stuff, and so on. The average money you make per run is much lower if you don't loot all the regular boxes on your way. While we're on the subject, could you guys please loot the boxes completely? Who the fuck is like, I could get this, oh this is pretty good, oh no, I don't like this, oh no, and this is too heavy. What the fuck? Just loot everything. It's so much faster to loot everything. Don't even think about it. Press X and keep running. And after a while, you just take 5 seconds to drop the shit you don't need. This way you're not wasting your time and you're not wasting the time of people coming after you. Generally me, finding only the shit you left in boxes behind you. Also preventing the boxes to respawn with new stuff on top of it because of the garbage you leave behind you. And the person coming after might be yourself 10 minutes later, you absolute bozos. Stop shooting yourself in the foot and loot the boxes completely. Jesus. Okay, sorry, rant over. So yeah, stashes are the best for average players. That's it. I have so much from stashes, I don't even have time to sell it on the auction. It keeps building up in my inventory. That's how crazy good it is. Okay, number 2, artifact hunting. You need the Buriat for this of course, and at least a worn Saturn if you plan on going to the lab, Black Detour of Reflection, and some areas in Stillwater. There's 3 important things when artifact hunting that make a crazy difference between a good run and a bad run. Where you do it, of course, getting a good instance that's not too crowded, and knowing to be efficient with your detector. After doing it a lot, a bit everywhere, I generally just stick to my faction base these days. If I get a good instance, I will do a full 30-minute run there, and you can get some pretty crazy results while being very safe. If my instance is shit and I can't get a better one, I will go to Black Detour or the lab. You definitely find more artifacts of higher rarity there, but it's generally too crowded and I don't think I've ever had an amazing run in these places. Some good finds here and there, sure, but in terms of consistency, because it's the only thing that matters in the long run, I don't find it that good. And if I'm bored, I will try Stillwater from time to time, but I end up getting killed with 3 white artifacts on me 99% of the time, so yeah. And actually I think having the Elbrus for Stillwater makes a big difference, and I don't have it yet. Forge is okay, but again, the good spots are heavily contested too. If you remove the spiral from my speed build, all of this was fully found around my faction base. And I just found a blue bracelet while recording this video, literally in front of the door of the base. So you will find good stuff around your faction base, and a ton of trash you sell straight to the fence that adds up really quickly. There's different ways to try to get a good instance. I don't know which one is the best. I think it's very subjective. I can just tell you what I like to do. So we're in our faction base while we wait for the emission. Actually, some people already like being outside, hiding in a bunker, already in an instance. I tried a couple times, I'm not sure about doing it this way, but I figured I mention it. Some like to get out as soon as you can, right when the emission finishes, to get an instance that will be locked because of the queue we have now, waiting for new instances to open. Again, not sure about that one, but you do you. Personally, I like getting the queue, getting out with everybody when a new instance opens, then get back in. Wait a bit for the instance we were just in to fill again, and get out again trying to get a fresh, different one. Okay, look, here we got a different instance. It doesn't look like there's much people around. And yeah, artifacts already. Many artifacts actually. Okay, so see, like that's probably gonna be a good one. That's the way I do it. But yeah, just experiment, see what works for you. It's not an exact science. If you have issues with your detector running out of batteries, you're just doing it wrong. This is the end of the run we just started, so we're 30 minutes later. It was an okay run, nothing crazy, but you can see I'm still at 50% batteries when I go home. The worst is to get an amazing instance with artifacts popping everywhere and have to go back to base after a while to charge your detector and lose the instance in the process. It will happen at the beginning, but with experience you will know where artifact spawns and where exactly to scan, and as soon as you check the area you want, put back the detector in your belt, not to drain the batteries. And when you're almost done scanning an area, learn to do a quick 360 to use the same scan to check everywhere around you. I can't describe how faster and more efficient this makes you, and of course, like everything else, having a good speed build will help a lot. You can get a decent one for cheap to get started. Go check the artifacts video if you want more info. You will have some decent runs, you will have some bad runs, you will have some amazing ones, but overall with the trash and the good stuff you can sell on the auction, it's around 900k per emission, which is really good, and why artifact hunting is number 2, number 2. Third best way to make money is proto anomalies, which is not surprising in itself. Most people know they're very good, but it's actually more complicated than that. First, it's assuming you make that amount on average if you sell everything on the auction house. So the dust, the proto artifacts, the fragments, everything. Which might be good or bad depending on what you do. Let's say you're upgrading your artifacts and you used all the free batteries you get in the battle pass. So you are looking for the cheapest way to get energy to continue upgrading. I made this chart exactly for this. Here you can see how much energy you get for each item, their average price on the auction house, and how much one energy cost at these prices. And here you can see very clearly that keeping the dust and the white proto artifacts to use for yourself is the best, and everything else is better to sell straight on the auction. And anything below these prices is a very good price to buy at if you're looking for all the energy you can get to upgrade your stuff. My first draft of this video was covering all the details for crafting too. Should you sell the artifact fragments or use them for good recipes in the hideout? Was it interesting to invest in the hideout? But the latest patch absolutely nuked all the interesting recipes and made them useless pretty much. Maybe it will change in the future, but right now just try to sell the fragments on auction or just directly to the fence if you don't want to bother. I will leave this page on the spreadsheet where you can see how profitable some of the recipes are. I will update them if the recipes get updated, but right now I kinda lost hope with the hideout. Okay, back to proto anomalies. So the second reason it gets a bit more complicated is that technically yes, doing one proto in a vacuum is exactly 60 seconds. So it's that amount on average per proto anomaly. But in real gameplay, when you don't find them all the time, you have to run around to look for them or share them with other players, it's more around that amount you make actually. And you can see it's a big drop, much bigger than stash runs, for example. So if we think about efficiency, because again, efficiency is the way you make money, protos are more of an opportunistic activity, something that you do if they're available right here, right now, but you don't go actively looking for them, to make money of course. If you're doing them mainly for gamma fragments to upgrade weapons and armor, that's another story. By the way, I made a small comparison between different activities and different areas to see like where's the best to get gamma fragments, like what's the fastest, the dust, the proto artifact. So you can look like what you're looking for and what's the best places to get it pretty much. For proto anomalies, for example, we can see that mines is by far the best for pretty much everything, and if you have a Saturn, the lab is very good too. Number 4, anomalous installations. Not as bad as people think, especially because they drop a lot of tools and parts, but still pretty bad. I like doing them when I have a kill mutants mission. They're a very fast way to do this type of task, but yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have the do installations missions for the battle pass, it's much better to do this with the installations in Black Detour or Reflection or the lab. And yes, at night between midnight and 4 AM, the wisps don't attack the installation, so you can do them for free in a way, but yeah, it's just boring. So yeah, anomalous installations, yeah, they really need a buff, because they're not really interesting right now. Number 5, signals. They used to be pretty good. I would do signals and protos for hours as soon as I could find one. The corrosive thingy could be turned into acid that you could sell at the fence for pretty good money, and the strange artifact you find in signals paired with the huge fragment from proto anomalies could be turned into dust, which was making them very good to do together, but both these recipes got nuked in the latest patch, which makes me very sad. They're still here, they're just bad now. At least signals are giving a good amount of battle pass when you do them. If they remove this, they will be completely useless, besides farming trackers for the Buriat or paint for whoever does that. And the items parts you find in them are way too rare to make them relevant anyways. And last, mutants. They're actually okay if you need the fern to upgrade your items, or the meat and hoofs for crafting recipes, like making polymers and things like this. I included in the numbers picking all the herbs too while doing it. It's always a bit extra you can use. But yeah, if your goal is to make money, they're not really good. And they're very, very boring to do. I did a lot of runs, just to be sure, and yeah, it's as disappointing as you would expect. They're not too bad for the battle pass though. 60 marbles on average for 13 minutes run, which is like a level and a half, so around 6 levels an hour, but there's much better ways to farm the battle pass anyways. You will find a page on the spreadsheet with all the stats for farming NPC camps in your faction base, mines, inflow, forge, and so on. They didn't make it to the list, not because they're not good, some of them are actually pretty decent, it's just that it's very hard to time how many you can do consistently. Sometimes your faction has all the outposts and you can't do them safely, you have to share them with allies very often, which dilutes a lot the numbers, you get killed too sometimes, and Forge is the same but worse. The camps there are even more contested. If friends do the strongholds, there's nothing left to farm. It's a bit of a crapshoot to get stats on them. But I still try to track a little bit how much money you can make for each camp, so you can check it on the spreadsheet. And while we're on the subject of farming NPC camps, let's talk about Battle Pass farming. It's hard to quantify how much money you make with this, so it's not on the list too. But personally, it's probably where I made the most money to be fair, and it would be number 1 on the list. But it's based a lot on gambling and getting lucky, so yeah, it's not the most consistent thing and people will have very different results. Selling the regular boxes and batteries if you don't need them is a steady, very good stream of money, even more if you keep old boxes from previous Battle Pass and wait for their price to increase with time. But the best is simply gambling the loot boxes, hoping for good drops that you can sell. But it's pure gambling. You might get rich or get nothing, so results will be completely different depending on your luck, that's why it's not on the list. Most people will tell you the best way to farm the Battle Pass are the camps in Forge or the stashes in the labs. It's somewhat true. I personally think there's more consistent and safer ways to do it, but I need to put everything to the test first, so maybe in a future Battle Pass farming video. And let's finish with an obvious one. Again, that's hard to quantify, but if I look back it would probably be in my top 3, and that's flipping stuff on the auction house. I mean, this is true for every single game that has an auction house anyway. There's a ton of money to be made with it, but not everyone likes to just sit in base and flip stuff. I remember I started with Chamomile. As soon as I got access to the auction house, very early in my first playthrough, I was buying, I don't know, everything under 12k and putting back on sale for 20, and would do this all day pretty much. Then I slowly moved to more expensive items with my money growing to make a bit more money each trade. I ended up making a spreadsheet, of course, for all the items with the best prices to buy them at and what prices to sell them, and was spending days just sitting in the base flipping stuff while I was at work. Price generally go down on the weekends and climb back up during the week, so there's a lot of good opportunities, and people misprice a lot of things too, and that's very easy to spot when you start flipping a lot. There's also a lot of silly stuff, like oil is pretty important in a lot of the hideout recipes, and a lot of people don't seem to know that you can buy it straight from the merchant. They think you can only get it on camps, like farming outside. I've been buying stack of it for so long and selling it for at least twice the price on the market. I don't know how much money I've made with it, but it's kinda ridiculous. It's not the biggest profits, but when I don't have anything to sell, I just sell oil all the time. And there's a couple other similar things you can do. Buying cheap packs of resources and reselling them one by one. I mean, there's a ton of ways. I'm not gonna teach you how to flip stuff. Just keep it in mind because it can make much more money than you can think, especially if you do it on parallel of regular playing and farming. I had a big section on the hideout plan previously, but honestly it's in a very bad state right now and I'm not sure I can recommend investing in it. I still make a decent chunk of money with some food recipes and a couple other things, but most of the good stuff has been completely nerfed, like I said previously, so yeah, no, it's not really worth it. Slowly upgrade it, of course, and slowly grind the levels. It's pretty fast anyway if you do a lot of the stashes, but I wouldn't actively invest in it with the purpose of doing specific recipes to sell the items later, because right now it's more of a money sink than a good way to make money. Okay, I think that's it for now. I just realized I didn't add caches in the video, but they're not that great. Like, the lab ones are amazing for the battle pass, but in terms of money in general it's nothing to write about, but you can find the stats in the spreadsheet. And keep in mind that future patches might change a lot of things in terms of drop or like hideout recipes, and I'll try to update the spreadsheet if I can, but at least all of this gives you like a rough idea on the best ways to make money. Okay, cheers.